Would I be the asshole for pulling out of my family's Secret Santa after seeing the wish list I got? Our family's Secret Santa as of right now has 20 participants. Not sure if this is the normal amount or if this is a lot. I've only been in Secret Santas with 5 to 7 people at work. We have re-rolled 5 times because we've either A, changed the rules after getting our recipient, or B, added people. We started with 10, decided to add spouses, and then kids. And now random family friends? Our current rules are ridiculous in my opinion. We were told to put affordable gifts that a kid can buy, but everyone is putting their expensive life wishes on the list. Then we have to get at least 5 gifts from the wish list, with no budget, and you have to declare how many gifts you are giving in the group chat to make sure you receive the same amount, which makes no sense. You also need to add where your gifts can be found. A few people have also started saying that they are going to buy from lists other than the recipients. On top of that, everyone keeps editing their list, adding and removing things that they think of. I've explained how inconvenient this is becoming, and I've tried to angle for the financial burden being placed on the parents of multiple kids. There's 6 kids in total in the group. Most of the group agrees, but are explaining that they are gritting their teeth for the family's sake. The list I got today after a month of back and forth, I've been asking since this seems to be a serious project at this point, is riddled with luxury name brand items like Dior and Louis Vuitton that I know no one in this group can afford. Maybe 2 people can buy one of these items, but that's a strong maybe. Nothing on this list can be found for less than $200, and I checked. Did I mention we're not allowed to deviate from the list unless explicitly stated we can? Yeah. This doesn't feel like the essence of gift giving or even Secret Santa. There's so many rules, no element of surprise. At this point, we're just giving each other items to unwrap. I'm one of the 3 who followed the rules, and nobody edited their list when this was brought up. My entire list is $100 in total. Edit. Quite a few of you are interested in specific items requested from my recipient. Bit the bullet and posted it in the comments. I'll copy it here. The list I got includes luxury handbags, a PS5, Baccarat Rouge with specifications of no dupes, Dyson Airwrap, naked cashmere robe, a plane ticket to Bali, to name a few. The cheapest is a green Amazon Kindle, which is like $203 with tax.
Storytime about how I found out that my best friend screwed my boyfriend. So a little background information. This happened whenever I was between 16 and 21 years old and I was a sophomore in high school. During the summer just before school started, my boyfriend Ryan moved to town. But sadly, whenever he moved here, his mom passed away, so he ended up missing the first 2 weeks of school. Fast forward, Ryan comes to school and he ends up becoming best friends with my guy best friend, and him and I had a bunch of classes together, so we would talk all the time. Obviously, this led to me having a crush on him. So him and I end up dating, and that's whenever we switch lunch tables to sit with my other friends. And then fast forward about 2 months into Ryan and I's relationship, my ex came to my house the one night and he SA'd me. The next day, I told my boyfriend what happened and he agreed that it wasn't my fault, but he said he would need some time to get over it. Fast forward, we end up moving on and we did the nasty a few times. And then my best friend Maddie told me the only reason why he did the nasty with me was because he felt like I was more experienced than him. So I ended up breaking up with him because I felt like he deserved better than me. He ended up never speaking to me, but later on I heard a rumor that somebody saw Ryan and Maddie together. So I confront her about it and she told me that she was just comforting him after what I did to him. Isn't it funny how there are those friends who go to comfort your ex during the breakup instead of you? A little sus if you ask me. Fast forward 5 years later, he comes into the place that I work and my work best friend Ashley gives my number to his friend to give to Ryan. So I texted him that night and then I woke up the next morning to a text that says, "Who is this?" And then over that weekend, we ended up like reconnecting. Then a month later, I got kicked out of my house and I moved in with him. And plot twist, 8 months later, one thing led to another. He proposed to me. And then 5 months later, we also ended up moving into a bigger apartment. Well, I ended up buying him a new phone, and that is whenever I saw text messages between him and Maddie. And they weren't just messages. These messages were very spicy. Also, this is while she was in a relationship with a freshman while we were seniors. I forgave him for lying because obviously we weren't in a relationship, but it's pretty effed up that that was my best friend. And obviously Maddie and I are not friends anymore.
Am I in the wrong for sending my future sister-in-law to my future mother-in-law's after she refused to pay for the wedding cake samples she and her friends ate? I, 27 female, and my fiance Leo, 27 male, decided to let my future sister-in-law Maya, 32 female, stay at our house because she needed some space. She needed time to think and be away from her husband due to some relationship struggles they're having. Well, Leo and I had gotten wedding cake samples from a very expensive bakery specializing in wedding cakes. We planned to test them along with Maya after we finished up some wedding plans yesterday. However, when I came home from work, I saw Leo yelling at Maya, and the box the samples came in was wide open on the living room table and Maya was arguing. So of course I asked what was happening, and Leo angrily told me that while we were both at work, Maya had some friends over and they ate almost all our cake samples. I was shocked and asked her why, and she said she needed a pick-me-up from what she was going through with her husband. Am I wrong for sending my future sister-in-law to my future mother-in-law's after she refused to pay for the wedding cake samples she and her friends ate? She said she needed a pick-me-up from what she was going through with her husband and invited her friends over to comfort her. This turned into them eating the cake samples after one of her friends noticed the box on our kitchen counter. My shock turned into anger, and Maya tried to defend herself by saying it was just cake, but I told her if it was just cake, then pay for it. She refused, saying the price was too expensive for something that tasted bad anyways, and Leo backed me up, saying Maya had to pay for it. We kept going back and forth until I told her if she doesn't pay the money, then she has to stay at future mother-in-law's, because I'm not having someone so disrespectful in my house. She thought I was bluffing until Leo repeated my sentiment and went to go pack her stuff. Go, Leo! When she came back, I handed her some cash for gas and told her to get the hell out. But of course, future mother-in-law called me to scold me. And her and Maya are in an argument because she ended up drinking some expensive whiskey.
Would I be the asshole? I found out my dad was cheating on my mom for 2 years. In November through December, I found out that my dad was cheating on my mom for 2 years with my teacher. Not a school teacher, just some random girl who taught my brother and I Arabic. After a bit, my mom goes to visit her parents in a different country and confronted my dad about the cheating and other things because he was there. My dad started saying what he did was fine and he shouldn't have to apologize for anything that he did. My mom divorced him and I found out about this December 23rd, and my dad has still not told us about what he did. Me and my older brother haven't told him we know, only our oldest brother has. My dad keeps trying to make himself look good for our mom. For example, I'm gonna buy a gift to my mom and he says, "Tell your mom I bought that." It annoys me a lot and I don't see him as the person I looked up to before. My dad also spread rumors about my mom stealing his money and more nasty things, and it just pissed me off more. My dad was very abusive to my siblings and I when we were kids. I have trouble showing emotions right now and I have anxiety because of him. I keep telling him that my mom won't come back, and the next time he tells me that I should hope that he and my mom get back together, I want to say, "Dad, mom doesn't want you anywhere near her and you should accept it and move on." So would I be the asshole?
I sent my child to wilderness therapy and I'm not sorry about it. My daughter is a sociopath. Ever since she was a child, she never seemed normal. She was always drawn away from us and very hostile. My partner and I lock her in her room at night to protect ourselves and to make sure she doesn't get into anything dangerous to harm us. We have caught her trying to get into our gun safe, as well as multiple attempts of grabbing knives from the kitchen to try to kill our son. We have tried everything. We have given her love, attention, toys, heart-to-heart conversations, one-on-one hangout days, and therapy. We even admitted her to a mental hospital for a year because she kept threatening to kill us and her little brother. Nothing had worked. Her therapist tells us everything we already do. Every other day, we plan family game night like Just Dance, bingo, etc. And it always ends with my daughter threatening to murder us in our sleep. She was soon after in a mental facility for 2 years after that, and when she came home, she was somehow worse. It got to the point where I was afraid for my family's safety, especially our son. So I looked into wilderness therapy. Before anyone says it's bad, I know it's bad. I know how they treat the children there. At this point, I just want my daughter gone. This family has taken enough of her abuse, and I have tried to make sure it didn't get to this point. I even asked family members if they could take her in, and they all declined because they are afraid of her and don't want to handle her. So I admitted her in, and she leaves Monday. She is 16 and will stay there until she is 18, where she can check herself out and leave. Before anyone calls me a bad parent, understand that it's hard to have a child be a part of your life when they grab a knife from the kitchen in the middle of the night and try to unlock your door to kill you, or when they try to drown your other child. I understand this will be hard for her. I always will love my daughter and will miss seeing her, but she needs to know that this happened because of her actions and negligence. So she does have a small little update. Tomorrow was the day I was supposed to drop her off at the wilderness therapy. A few days ago, I told my daughter where she was going, and she was understandably upset. She was very unstable the past couple of days. I told her that it wasn't fair to me that she treated us all very badly. She said it was clear we didn't want her here and that her friend's parents agreed to take her in. So I helped her pack her bags and dropped her off. Unfortunately, she didn't even last 2 days at their house because I got a call from her friend's dad telling me that they can't handle her sudden angry outbursts. So once they drop her off today, I'm continuing to take her to wilderness therapy. My husband and I have thought it was best to cut her off completely and move. Some people suggested changing our last name, and we will be doing that too. Here is a letter that I will send off with her now. Hello, daughter. One of our biggest regrets and mistakes was not being able to do more for you. It felt like there was so many puzzle pieces that were missing and couldn't be fixed. We as a family tried to be there for you, to look out for you. However, you failed to treat us with that same respect, and in return made us afraid for our safety. We sincerely hope this journey will teach you many things and help you discover whatever will help your life get on track. This journey with us, however, has come to an end. In 2 years' time, when you get out, we would have moved and changed our names. Please don't try to find us and instead use your freedom to live out your life. We don't feel safe around you, and we feel like it is best to not be in contact anymore. Regardless, we still want to recognize the good moments we had. We hope you will live a fulfilling life without us. Sincerely, your family. Dang. Oh, my only question is, like, when she gets out at 18, isn't she just going to be homeless? Because she has nothing. Does a wilderness camp, like, help them set them up with something? Because, like, I don't know about you, but most 18-year-olds cannot afford to support themselves at that age on minimum wage. But I'm just curious.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife that she can stay home this Thanksgiving? My wife is a grade A+ picky eater. It's a bothersome to a certain degree, but on holidays, basically the shit show begins. She would refuse to eat certain meals, and my mom would take it personally, which results in a series of arguments between them. As a compromise this year, my wife offered to bring her own food to Thanksgiving dinner. I was stunned. I asked if she thought this through, and she looked at me confused. I told her about how weird it would be for her to bring her own food, especially when she wouldn't be sharing it with anybody else, and told her to think about how my mom will react. My mom would be very offended and upset. My wife said it's not her problem and she was trying to make it work by bringing her own meal. I told her that my mom might not like or even allow this. She blew up at me asking if I want her to either eat the food she doesn't like or go hungry. I suggested that she give my mom's food a chance, but she said it wasn't about my mom's cooking. She doesn't like certain foods. We had an argument and I ended up telling her she could stay home this Thanksgiving and have whatever meal she likes. We had an argument and I ended up telling her that she could stay home this Thanksgiving and have whatever meal she likes. She got quiet then lashed out on me, calling me insensitive and negative to say this to her. I repeatedly asked her to calm down, but she couldn't stop ranting about how I was basically willing to exclude her from a major event. She started cold shouldering me about it while at the same time guilting me, saying I'm treating her poorly after she offered the perfect compromise. Update, so my wife has decided to go spend Thanksgiving with her family instead and basically ditch me for a whole week. Her family lives hours away, so this means unnecessary travel expenses. Though I appreciated some insightful comments on the situation, some others are not. Especially with the assumptions claiming that my wife has allergies and she doesn't. But anyways, all is good now, I guess, but I'm not happy about her decision. I feel like she's doing it in spite and trying to get me to cave in.
My friend is a bridezilla horror stories. This one's crazy, you do not want to skip it. OP says she slapped me in the mouth in the restroom during the reception. She had this massive billowing explosion of organza as a skirt. It was beautiful but utterly impractically designed. It took at least 3 of us to hold up her skirt so she could pee. She had been drinking on an empty stomach, and on the second trip to the restroom, with all of us holding this dress up while she hovered drunkenly over a toilet she couldn't see, she ordered me to wipe her. My friend is a bridezilla horror stories. Ordered me to clean her urine. I declined. She slapped me. The skirt was dropped by all parties while I shouted obscenities at her. She screamed that if I didn't do this for her, this friendship was over. She tried to apologize years later, but seemed surprised when I was not interested in rekindling our friendship. To clarify, we were friends in college, but by no means best friends. Wiping a drunk best friend is an honor and a duty.
Am I the arsehole for calling my daughter's dad spineless and his girlfriend creepy after what they decided to call their daughter? Story time. So, a little bit of context. I ended up falling pregnant with my daughter on a drunken hookup. I know it's not very glamorous, but that's the truth of it all. When we found out that I was pregnant, we decided that we would keep the baby and we would co-parent as friends. We were never a couple, nor did we want to be. 4 years ago, Steve met a girl called Amy and they ended up moving in together this time last year. She fell pregnant very quick and I've been extremely supportive where I can be. I've had a big chat with my daughter about it. I've told her that she needs to help out wherever necessary and to behave while she's there so that she's not making their life any more stressful. I also mentioned that I'd love our children to have a really close relationship despite having different mothers. I'm actually really happy that my daughter is getting a sibling because I didn't want any more children, so this kind of works out for the best. So 3 days ago, Amy gave birth and Steve texted me asking if I could bring our daughter to meet her. So of course I did exactly that. Then they introduced us to the baby. I was shocked. The name they used was my daughter's name. I'm done. I'm out. So Amy, the mum, didn't seem to have any sort of issue. She didn't think to let me know. We didn't have a conversation about it. But Steve, the dad, seemed very, very uncomfortable and he wouldn't even look me in the eye. So I was like, what are we playing at here? What's going on? At that point, Steve's dad was like, I'll take your daughter out. We'll go to the cafe. He was like, peace out, tap it out. Steve told me to not overreact about the situation and to calm down. While Amy, with the audacity, turned around and said, I don't really see what the problem is. It was just a pretty name that we like. Original. And I was trying to work out if they'd named the child after my daughter. And Amy was like, nah, it was just a pretty name that we both really like. Well, no shit, you really like. You've already got a daughter named that, weirdo. And I was really trying to wrap my brain around this. I was like, great, so what are we going to use as like her nickname? Like, is she going to go by her middle name? Like, what's going on? I very quickly just came to the realization that this was the name and they didn't see anything wrong with it at all. This is the most mad Steve and Amy have ever moved. I'm calling it right now. And that was when I turned to Amy. I was like, you're a creep. Steve tried to interject and like break it up. And I was like, you can't get involved. You are a spineless man. He then tried to tell me that our daughter could go by a nickname instead. Amy then called me a bitch and then asked the nurses to remove me. I got kicked out of the hospital. So what do you think here? Am I the arsehole?
Am I the asshole for reporting a girl I went to school / worked with?
Probably not. Okay.
I mean, yeah, she's not. Since my sophomore year of high school, I've had this rocky friendship with this one chick. Some backstory is she's used her friends and outed one of her friends to everyone. She's a piece of shit.
Yeah, already piece of shit, yeah.
She faked being trans to prove she didn't out the person. Parentheses, she admitted it. And said never mind about being trans to be with straight cis men.
Oh my god.
What a fucking garbage person.
Yeah, you know you're not the asshole.
You know you're not the
asshole. But okay.
But this is a story, so you know.
Yeah, let's go in. Let's go.
Okay, back to my story. I had left the school I was going to and moved in with my dad about 15 to 20 minutes away. I had been working at a store nearby for over a year and a half in that town. This girl followed me there a few weeks later and started working with me. I was civil with her till the day my emotional support animal passed away randomly at 3 years old. I'm sorry.
I am sorry.
I was sitting at work upset about it, wishing I could have done something, and she went ahead and said, you couldn't have saved her. Even if you got her help, she would have died.
Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. No, you can't just say that.
I feel like
it doesn't matter. Okay, first, I know.
Maybe
I don't
she's trying to be comforting,
but that's such a really bad way.
Yeah, it's not a good way to phrase it.
It's not good to say you couldn't have done anything. It's one thing to say you couldn't have done anything. It's another to say you tried your best and she
tried your best and she lived a good life.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
and there was nothing more you could have done.
If someone told me that Leolo fucking
you couldn't have done anything, you would have died anyway.
Yeah, no, that feels like shit.
She said this for about a week straight. A fucking week? Like, dude, shut up.
That's all. That's fucking get over it energy. That's what that feels like.
It really does feel like that, even though I kind of know what she means.
Yeah, but like doing it for a week and saying the same bad way of doing it.
And I assume this person is also being like, "Hey, don't stop talking to me."
That's what it feels like. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Hey, stop it. And then they continue is like, no. I told a few of my managers so she could be kept away from me. Then one day I had enough and reported her to someone higher up. But after they talked to her, they said I shouldn't have an issue with her since she didn't have an issue with me. Am I the asshole?
Oh, not the asshole. And
No,
fuck your manager,
these fucking
fuck your higher
capitalists
ups.
are being stupid.
They don't care because they just want two people to work whatever the fuck. That's dumb as fuck, man.
Am I the asshole for pausing my husband's game because he wouldn't give our baby a bath on time? I, 23 female, paused the internet on every single device in the apartment because my husband, 23 male, refused to get off the game to give our 8-month-old son a bath on time. My husband does not help with the household whatsoever. He doesn't wash dishes, doesn't do laundry, clean any room of the house, cook dinner, or anything else. He'll come home, throw his uniform onto the floor, and leave it there until the next day. If the house is dirty, he'll scold me and tell me that I don't do anything, like I don't clean enough and I don't cook dinner enough. Our biggest issue is the baby. I'm the main caretaker for our son 99% of the time. I get up with him during the nights that he wakes up crying. If our son is sick, I'm the one who takes off work. I've missed almost 6 weeks in the past 3 months because my husband wouldn't even ask his supervisor if he could stay home one of those days. I recently got promoted to E5 after being up 3 times in a row and taking a hard exam that I studied for. My husband didn't make it this time around and he blames me for it. He said it wasn't a surprise that I made it because my job is easy and all we do is sit at computers all day while he works out in the sun. I paused the game tonight because every night we feed our son and give him a bath at 7 p.m. on the dot. He's always had this routine. After I fed the baby, I told my husband that it was time for the bath. I laid out all the baby supplies and clothes for after the bath. My husband told me to just sit the baby down in the playpen until he's done with the game. I gently told him no, that it's bedtime and I wasn't going to shift our son's routine so he could play the game for an extra hour and a half, and my husband needs to learn how to prioritize. I then paused the game and my husband flew off the handle, threatening to break my phone, and refused to give our son a bath and called me lazy for not doing it instead. He literally hops on the game and plays from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to sleep. So am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for leaving my brother's wedding earlier after I was pissed at my sister-in-law? I, male 29, have a 10-month-old baby. Everyone in my family knows me and my wife are both new parents, so we are a bit overprotective. I had to go to my brother's wedding last week without my wife since she was a bridesmaid at another wedding. So I had to fly with my son alone and it was really stressful. I was already on edge and my brother and sister-in-law knew this. My brother was very happy that I was bringing my son, but sister-in-law was not. She was extremely hostile towards me, so she basically made it a point that she's not going to serve my son food. That was fine with me, so I made plans to bring my own food. When I told her I'd be bringing food, she said I need to feed him outside the reception hall. This wasn't an issue, I thought it was weird, but it's fine. So during the ceremony, he got a little fussy, so I took him out to change him. I ended up missing part of the wedding ceremony because I forgot the diapers in my rental car. My brother was really understanding, but once again, my sister-in-law made more snide comments and told me I need to get my son under control. I then made a sarcastic comment saying, yeah, I'll just tranquilize him next time. She did not like that joke at all. During the reception, pretty much everyone on my brother's side was coming up to me and trying to meet my baby for the first time. This was the first family gathering I brought my baby to, and everyone just wanted to see him. Well, this didn't sit well with my sister-in-law once again. She was mad everyone's attention was on me and not her. Eventually, she came up to me and told me to stop stealing their moment or I can get out. At that point, I was really tired of her BS, so I just left and went back to my hotel. The next day, my mom and dad were furious at me and asked why I left. I told them and they still took sister-in-law's side. My brother is now mad at me too. I told him straight up that sister-in-law's acting like a child and that I can't make my son stop acting like a baby.
Sister's stupidity destroyed my family. My sister let her boyfriend drive my parents' car. She took it when they were out. She only had a learner's permit, so she was supposed to have a licensed adult with her. She let her boyfriend, who was a year too young to have a learner's permit, drive, and he crashed. He died. My sister was seriously injured. They think one or both of her feet were on the dashboard. She is paralyzed from the chin down. My parents' insurance isn't covering them since my sister took the car illegally, and her boyfriend's family are suing my parents. My parents tried to sue them back since he was driving, but it was thrown out when they tried. We had to move into an apartment because my parents couldn't afford our house. I see them cry every day. I heard my mom say that going bankrupt doesn't get rid of the lawsuit debt, and their lawyers told them to try and settle before it goes to court because they will probably lose. My sister has to be in a home forever because she needs help and care 24/7, 365 days a year. She remembers everything, and her brain is not affected at all. Her medical bills and nursing home bills are so much money. My grandparents are all trying to help, but they are all in retirement homes and don't have much. I've seen them cry too. I know she is getting punished already because she's paralyzed, almost completely, but I still can't even look at her because she destroyed our entire family.
I think when you have a bad choice, which seems rather simple and probably at that age seems pretty harmless when you make that decision, it's just like, oh, everyone drives. Like, it's not going to be a big deal. You don't have the mental capacity to understand the dangers of that and the riskiness of having someone who's maybe never driven drive the car. So we all understand it's a terrible decision. She now has to live with that consequence the rest of her life.
Yeah.
A physical consequence.
A physical, but also an emotional and a mental. Her boyfriend died.
She's going to go through it forever. The other thing that then adds to that is now it affects other people very greatly. There's a family that literally lost their son, and then her parents are now going through.
They lost their home. I mean,
it's not
their whole life.
Yes, they innocently lost a lot. They aren't paralyzed. They'll be able to figure things out over time, and I don't know if they'll heal from it, but I think monetarily they could, it's a big setback, but I'm sure like over time you can recover from something like that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because of how it went down, there's no insurance. There's now all these crazy lawsuits because I'm sure on some level they should have been responsible for the car not being taken by their kid.
Me and my boyfriend have been together for 4 years. During our relationship, I caught him messaging other girls a couple of times. This past week, 12/26/21, I had a dream of him cheating. He never allows me to see his phone, and I don't know how to find out if this was true or not. God. My coworker, who has had the same experience, told me that she used to make a fake account to see if her ex-baby daddy would cheat, and that's how she caught him. With her help, I made a fake Snapchat, and she would assist me in making conversations and flirting. In this conversation, she said he was single for over a year, and he would be willing to meet her after New Year's.
Are you fucking kidding me?
After I confronted him about it, he told me that I, quote, set him up and I got my result, and that he, quote, was suspicious of the account and, quote, didn't think anything of it.
Oh, shut your mouth.
He's been trying to blame me and saying he, quote, slipped up and had, quote, given in. Am I crazy for making this fake account to catch him? What should I do? You're not crazy because you caught him.
Yeah, you would be crazy if you didn't catch him. My boyfriend, 19 male, and I, 19 female, have been together for almost 3 years, but I don't think I want to be with him anymore. Since COVID hit, we were fooling around, and I told him since day one I did not want anything serious. I wasn't ready. But the whole time before we officially were together, he was pushing and pushing. I just found out more shit I really wish I didn't know. I figured out that he actually planned to have sex with me the night of junior year homecoming.
Run.
Yeah, if someone plans to have sex with you, that's already...
What, is this a fucking heist? Like, yeah, like, that's kind of weird.
Ocean's 11, but
Ocean's
it's about
11
sex.
to get in your fucking pants. That's weird.
That's weird
That's
as
really
fuck.
weird, yeah.
I found this out maybe like 3 months ago. I know I should have known, it's kind of obvious. But then the night afterwards, he love-bombed me? I don't know what that means, and she does not explain. I was so confused and felt so awkward, but I found out that he has never had a relationship before, like at all. So I let it slide because maybe he just doesn't know how it all works.
Never watched TV growing up? I'm sorry. I think we all know how relationships work.
No, I mean, no. Some people don't.
Maybe, but no. Okay, but okay.
Okay, I also found out he held a very big secret from me that he should have told me before we ever did anything in the first place. How I didn't run screaming, I have no idea. Him and I also grew up very different. His parents are still together, married, and have always lived in the same home since he was a kid, an only child. With no super obvious signs of abuse or mental illness, etc. Where I am the eldest of possibly 9.
Whoa.
Parents were never married and many partners between both of them and have moved many times. Substance abuse and long strings of mental illness.
Oh, shit.
I took this all into consideration anytime his actions or words made me uncomfortable. That he isn't used to the things I'm used to and he hasn't had enough experience and so on. Yeah, I get that.
That's fair. Yeah, that is fair.
Sometimes sometimes that is a thing.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. He also either just doesn't understand or just doesn't care about my issues. I've been in therapy since I was very young and I've told him pretty much everything, but he just says stupid shit like, Well, I don't get why that's such a big deal. Just don't think that way.
I'm gonna give you advice right off the bat. Leave.
My Grinch fetish is destroying my relationship. I have a Grinch fetish. My boyfriend knows about this and for the most part accepts it. He isn't crazy about it and doesn't really get it, but at least he tries, which is all I ask. He'll sometimes read the book to set the mood. Or if he's feeling really kinky, tell me, you're a mean one in the heat of the moment. He's even begrudgingly come around to at least playing one of the 3 versions of the film every time we do the deed. Although we tend to stay away from the live action one because it's too much for me. The thing is, I don't want to hear about the Grinch or listen to the Grinch or watch the Grinch. I want to be f***ed by the Grinch. And for the record, this is common among women. The Grinch's bulging sack of toys for me, and many others, is what a Mack truck is to Cardi B. The fact that he's good with dogs and experienced trauma at a young age makes me want that long, fuzzy eggplant even more. My boyfriend asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I told him straight up. I told him to put on the greenest, silkiest Grinch costume he could find, kidnap me from my bed on Christmas Eve, and then ravish me in front of the Christmas tree. He flat out refused, said it was too weird for him. I was literally begging this man to let this kitty cat save Christmas, and he was like, nah, I'm good. It ended up turning into a fight where he admitted he only gave in to my initial Grinch kinks to placate me, and was still uncomfortable about the fact I had moaned Grinch during intimacy a few weeks ago, but only because a song was playing in the background. So he's drawn a line. If I don't drop the Grinch fetish, which, as I said, is incredibly common among women, but sadly taboo, he is done for good. Don't want to lose him over this, but it's really hard for me to see past my sexual proclivities, especially during the Christmas season. Is there any way we can compromise on this, or do I simply need a more adventurous man? Update. My Grinch fetish is destroying my relationship. I honestly regret posting this on the internet because of all the people who kink shamed me and laughed at me. This update isn't for you. It's for the thousands and thousands of women who reached out who also want to fight Grinch. My relationship with my boyfriend is over, and I wasn't even the one who ended it. We were taking a little Christmas date this weekend, driving around and looking at the Christmas lights. It was a really nice time. The Grinch song even came on the radio while we were driving, and I didn't want to ruin a sweet, innocent date, so I contained myself. We were happy. We were merry. Until we passed a house with an inflatable Grinch. It was too much. Way, way too much. I soaked in every inch of that decoration. I couldn't help myself. I begged him to pull over and fuck me right there so I could stare at the Grinch's thick, glowing thighs. I said our trunk could be the back of his sleigh. He got pissed and was like, kids live in this neighborhood. But the green glow in the rear view was too much for me, so I just kept taking off my clothes. And then he pulled over. I thought he was going to oblige me, but he didn't. He said it was too much. He said that he's done, and that he will never be able to think of the Christmas season ever again without thinking about getting fucked by the Grinch. And that's somehow so 2020, and he just can't take it anymore. He wants me out of the apartment by the end of the week. So thanks everybody for saying he should leave me, for saying I'm a freak, for laughing at something. I wrote in earnest. Merry Christmas.
Storytime about why you should be careful about who you go on vacation with. So a little background information, I was 18 years old and a senior in high school, and I had planned to go on a vacation to Barcelona in Europe with my best friend Kayla and this other girl Megan. Now, we didn't know Megan too well, but we were still friends with her. But I'm not gonna lie, the red flags started before we even left to go to Barcelona. Because as we were booking this trip, Kayla and I wanted to keep a smaller budget because we were going to be leaving for college when we got back. But Megan was not having it at all. She wanted to spend what seemed like every single last penny on this trip. But thankfully, we ended up compromising on a cheap Airbnb in the middle of Budapest. Well, fast forward to whenever we all land in Spain. So we go to the bar and we meet these 2 British guys. One's name was Will, and he was hanging around with Kayla and I. Then the other one, who we're gonna call Harry, he was chatting it up with Megan. Keep in mind, Megan has a boyfriend. So before we left, the guys asked for our Instagram, and Kayla and I said no, they respected it, but Megan, on the other hand, was giving out her socials. Now, initially, we weren't judging her because because you can be friends with guys and have a boyfriend. Next night, we decided to hit the clubs again because literally every night there was crazy. We meet these guys. They were super cool, and one's name was Rylan and the other one's name was Ellis. Rylan was hitting on Megan, and Ellis was totally into me, which I didn't mind because he was so cute. And while we're all hanging out, Megan has the audacity to turn to me and be like, oh my god, I would totally do the nasty with Ellis if I didn't have a boyfriend. Meanwhile, she knew that I was interested in him. Anyways, so the rest of the night, Ellis and I basically spent it together. We exchanged socials, and Megan was super drunk, so we ended up going home. And then Megan decides to call her man while she's in the bed with Kayla, and we all sleep in one room so we can hear everything that the other person's doing. And then she starts having phone, you know what, with her man while she's in the bed with Kayla. And she's taking nude pics of herself and sending them while she's in the bed. Kayla felt extremely uncomfortable. Anyways, fast forward to the next day. Ellis and I hang out again, and we ended up kissing at the end of the night. And Megan was blackout drunk again, but this time on the way home, not only had she been flirting with so many guys, but she was trying to get with Ellis right in front of me. We ended up going to their apartments afterward, and literally, Megan invites him into bed with her. He didn't get into bed with her, but I was so pissed off. You have a boyfriend, and also you're trying to steal some guy that you know that I like. Kayla and I were furious, so we just decided to go and walk home. Fast forward the next day, Megan wakes up and she can't remember anything that happened the day before. After this, the vibe was just awful, but Kayla and I tried to ignore it, and I'm pretty sure that Megan had no idea that there was a bad vibe. I'm pretty sure that she thought nothing she did was wrong. Anyway, so we go to this beach party thing, and Megan was in charge of booking the beach party, right? Kayla and I gave her money to book tickets that was unlimited drinking. What did she do? She did not book the unlimited drinking package. She booked the regular one. Anyway, so Megan starts flirting with this 30-year-old man, and that's whenever Kayla and I decide, okay, we're gonna go walk around because we're not staying here for this. This is our vacation too. Anyways, we make our way back over to Megan, and she looks pissed. She was so mad that we weren't staying with her while she talked to this old man, and we were like, we never even let you out of our sight. We were barely 10 feet away from you, but we're sorry. She was like, yeah, it's the least that you can do after your behavior. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then all of us are arguing on the beach, and usually I'm the one who is very feisty, but Kayla went off. I have never seen her like this ever in my life. Because Megan thought that she could just go off on us and we were gonna stand there and say nothing. So then she orders a cab, and we offer to get in it with her, but she says no, and we stayed and we had a really good night. Because one, this is our vacation too, and we are nobody's babysitters. We tried to make sure that you were having a good time, and we took care of you while you were blackout drunk, and you were not about to treat us like shit. Moral of the story, know who you're going on vacation with before you go on vacation.
My boyfriend, male 24, and I, non-binary 23, have been dating since high school.
Okay.
He tried to surprise a marriage proposal on me last year without really talking to me beforehand. It went down awful, but not the worst. I ended up having a full-on panic attack, and I told him no. That sounds like the worst.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. Yeah,
that sounds.
Already not the asshole. I know it's not. Fuck that guy.
We never really had a serious conversation about whether we wanted to get married, but I have mentioned that marriage was something that made me uncomfortable. Especially people who get married in their early 20s. Mood.
Feel that, yeah.
This was incredibly awkward afterwards, and he never considered that I was serious about not wanting to be married. We've had some conversations about it, and he's hopeful I'll change my mind.
Cross those fingers.
He wants to get married even though I don't want to. We're still together and the relationship is good, but it'll never be how it was before. Every once in a while we argue about marriage, and he acts surprised each time that I remind him marriage isn't for me. I think he has a vision in his head of me, and when I don't fit into it, he purposefully blocks it out. It's very confusing because I still love him, but it's frustrating. I want a life together without marriage and happen naturally. I have trauma from entrapment, and he knows this. But he specifically wants a wedding, rings, and thinks once we're married, we're set.
That's
weird to me.
Weird.
But, I mean, I guess some people think like that.
It's fucking weirdos saying like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are weirdos in the world. Even if we don't have everything ready, we have each other, so we'll be okay. It's frustrating that he's more focused on his version of our relationship without even considering my feelings. Recently, I have noticed that he might be in love with his best friend at a more than just platonic level.
What?
It is a two-parter.
Way to throw a curveball right then.
I've known about her since the beginning. I think she's wonderful. And she's an amazing friend, too, but I noticed his attachment is really intense to her. He'll start crying after she leaves his place, and he needs one of her sweaters to calm down.
It's pretty fucking... That's pretty sus. That's pretty sus.
He said her perfume comforts him, and he loves being held by her. They see each other weekly. By the way, she doesn't live far away, 20 minutes from his place. They plan on living with each other since they both are looking for a new place. I can't break my lease, so... I'm not jealous or anything, but it just feels weird to watch that happen and not able to comfort him because the only person he wants to console him is her. They hang out a lot and take a lot of trips together, and I can't since I have work and school, but I think them hanging out is perfectly fine.
I got some bad news for you.
Am I the asshole for embarrassing my fiance and taking my heels off at our engagement party? This one was too weird, and I really want to see what everyone's opinion is on this one because it was just so weird. OP says, my fiance, male 31, and I, female 26, got engaged several days ago. This is relevant. He's tall, and I'm in the 5s category. Pretty small compared to him and his family. He asked that I wear high heels at our engagement party since there was gonna be photos. Although I wasn't comfortable, not a fan either, with high heels, I decided to wear them just for his sake since he begged and pleaded. And also since he promised I would be sitting most of the time. But at the party, he had me stand for hours to welcome the guests. There were like 20 guests. I got so tired of standing and my feet and legs were on fire. I asked if I could sit, but his mom said I'm the fiance and should stand next to my partner, not just sit like the party had nothing to do with me. I told my fiance again that I was in so much pain, but he said suck it up, it's almost over. I had enough of it. I took my heels off and let my feet and legs cool off. He and his mom looked at me in utter confusion. Several of his family members and guests saw me barefoot as well. He freaked out asking what I was doing. His mom asked that I put my heels on, but I said my feet were done and I couldn't do it anymore. My fiance begged me, but I stood there till it was over like he wanted. The minute I got in the car, he flipped out, saying I embarrassed him in front of his family and friends by standing there barefoot and refusing to put my heels back on, even after his mom repeatedly asked. I reminded him that he said I wouldn't be standing, but turns out it wasn't true. He argued that for someone with a height like mine, I should wear high heels more often and said I should have sucked it up for his sake. He went upstairs and turned his phone off and refused to speak to me. I had no intentions of embarrassing him, and I do feel I should have sucked it up, but I think that he wasn't truthful about how long I was expected to stand. OP also added that the cultural differences between them is she is Asian and his family are Americans. She said most of the time they're cordial and welcoming, and they've never made any snide comments about her.
Am I the asshole for not letting my neighbor's kids play in my yard until they pay to fix the damage to my house? My father bought the house in the 80s. I inherited it 3 years ago and have been living in it since. I have 2 acres while my surrounding neighbors maybe have 1.5 if they're lucky. The house is very small, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, so I have a very large front and backyard. I use maybe 1/5 of my backyard as a garden and the rest is basically an empty field. I've always loved kids, so I was happy to let my neighbor's kids play in the field with the understanding that they would respect my property. Most of the kids are great and very respectful and understand that it's not their backyard. The problem is with my neighbors to the right, they have 5 kids, 1 female, 3 male, 5 female, and 7 male. They generally run around unsupervised. The 7-year-old is in charge as much as a 7-year-old can be. 5 days ago, the kids were playing baseball and the 7-year-old must have lost track of the 5-year-olds at some point because when I came home from work, I found their names Sharpied on my wall, along with some rude drawings all along the right side of my house. I found their parents the next day and asked them to pay for the paint that I'll need to cover it up. They were offended, accused me of lying, and said they weren't going to pay. Later that day, the 5-year-old male decided it would be funny to throw rocks at my house. There were several dents on the side and 2 of my windows were broken. It was $800 to $900 worth of damage. I talked to the parents again who accused me of doing it myself to make their kids look bad. I decided to not let their kids use my yard until the damage is paid for. When they came by one morning to play with the other kids, I politely explained the situation and said they would have to leave as they weren't allowed to play here anymore. About an hour later, their mom came by and cussed me out. She said I'm a horrible person who hates children because I'm bitter and can't find a husband.
Today I fucked up by getting tested to donate a kidney to my wife. I decided to get tested to see if I could donate my kidney to my wife of 6 years. We have 2 kids together, 4 female and 2 male. My wife got sick just after our son was born and now is in need of a kidney transplant. We checked with her relatives and none were a match or a viable donor. Last week, I got tested. I knew it would be a long shot, so I decided to get tested to see if I could donate. I got a call the other day saying that I was a match. The doctor then said something about wanting to do additional testing due to some information from the HLA tissue test results. I didn't think much of it and agreed. Then the results came in and I was shocked and confused. He explained that because of how DNA information is passed down through generations, a parent to a child could have at least a 50% match. Siblings could have a 0 to 100% match. It was rare to have a high match as husband and wife. I asked, what does that mean? He said that my wife and I have a, quote, abnormally high match percentage. Long story short, we're related. No.
Whoa, I don't know how I didn't. That didn't happen. That is, whoa.
No, I'm not kidding. I was put up for adoption before I was born, placed into a family that moved across the country. I knew I was adopted, but we didn't have any information about my bio family. It was a closed adoption. I met my wife by chance 8 years ago. I was on a trip from work and she was working at the site I went to. We worked together for a week. We exchanged numbers and kept in touch. I was sent back there 3 more times that year and each time we became closer. I was given the opportunity to be transferred out there in a new higher paying position in a different department as hers. The rest is history. I don't know what to do moving forward, but I know it may be wrong. She is my wife and the mother of our kids. This post is probably going to get removed, but it is all true. We do have an edit. Look at the name, which his username is throwaway. Wife is my HS. Call me dumb, but it's not clicking right now. All of my family is from my adopted parents. My parents adopted me 2 minutes after I was born. Their name is on my birth certificate. They have not told me anything about my bio parents, and I don't have any info. Her family is not a match, as stated above. Most of her family has low match potential or can't donate due to medical or other reasons. I am 2 years older than my wife. I do know that my wife was born when her parents were late teens. So it kind of makes you think her parents are also his parents, and they had 2 accidental pregnancies, but because he's older and they were even younger teens, put him up for adoption. What's HS?
Hereditary sister. I don't know.
My 25 male friend sent me a screenshot of an active and verified Tinder profile of my boyfriend, 23 male. A friend of mine sent me some screenshots of a Tinder profile that had an active badge, meaning profile was online in the past 2 hours and it was verified. The profile had a bunch of photos of my boyfriend, and when I asked him about it, he swore it's a fake profile, saying it's not the first time he finds a fake profile with his pictures, and he said he deleted his Tinder account a long time ago. I found out that the profile was at least 12 miles away from his house, which is quite far even for inaccurate GPS. Anyway, I found all of this weird because verified profiles require selfies with specific gestures. The profile also had a lot of his real hobbies and personality traits, his college course, his profession, etc. If the profile really is a fake one, it was created by someone who definitely knows him. Things got a little worse. I asked him to download Tinder and log in with his account. To me, he would download it and showed that he doesn't have an active account, or if he did, it was inactive, and that the other one was indeed a fake account. However, he denied me this, saying that relationships are based on trust and that I had to trust him, specifically because it's not the first time that I suspect him and get proved wrong, and he was tired of having to prove things. So funny when people break their partner's trust and they go, relationships are built on trust, and if you can't trust me, then you have trust issues. Like, the gaslighting. Now I don't know what to do. I love him and I want to trust him, but the profile was very convincing. Many photos, perfect description, and hobbies. Verified. He could have spent just 5 minutes to show me his account and shut me up, but instead he came with that trust talk. The only thing he did was show me that all of the photos that the profile had were available on his Instagram at some point since last year, meaning someone could have used them. Another behavior that I found weird was that he didn't even bother about the verified fake profile using his photos. I mean, who doesn't get upset with this? I offered him to help find the fake profile, and he didn't show any interest at all. What would you do? Should I ignore this and blindly trust him? Ooh, he has an update. The profile existed for at least 6 months, which is a very hard achievement for a fake profile. I know this because a friend already chatted with that profile in January. The funniest part is that right after I left my boyfriend at his home, the profile suddenly gets deleted. A 6-month-old fake profile being deleted at the exact same day I confronted my boyfriend about that? LOL.
Am I the asshole for not letting my friend be in my wedding? My fiance and I got engaged rather quick. My friend, female 30, and I, female 26, used to talk about our weddings. She always thought she would be engaged before me, and honestly, so did I. However, I got engaged first. When it came time to pick our bridal party, my fiance and I decided to pick our siblings only. It was an even match on both sides. I told my friend this, and she said she understood. I wanted to include her, so I had her take our engagement pictures. Well, the next day we got dinner before she moved 4 hours away. She told me she was upset she wasn't in the wedding. She said I would have been her maid of honor, but now she doesn't think so since she isn't in my wedding. Am I the asshole for not letting my friend be in my wedding? I told her I was sorry, but this was our choice. She came over later that night and asked my fiance why she wasn't in the wedding after I had told her no. My fiance went upstairs and she again brought up not being in the wedding and that I would regret not putting her in the wedding. I said I was sorry and gave her something for helping take pictures. She then texted me and said she thinks people are making my choice and I need to pick what I want. She told me she was very disappointed and needed to say something. I told her we want a small bridal party. She has also been jealous of the time I spent with my fiance before we got engaged and said we spent too much time together and that I talk about him too much. I've been in 8 weddings and did not put any of those girls in the wedding or other friends. So am I the asshole?
I, 30 female, helped my ex's 35 male new girlfriend, 19 female, end her pregnancy and have now taken her in. And I'm getting a lot of backlash from his community. First, I would like to say I have no jealousy or contempt for this girl, and she is a girl to me, a child. My ex did cheat on me with her, but she was not aware at that time. I extricated myself from the situation when she was made aware, with only a single message over Insta to her that cheaters don't change. If he did it to me, he'll do it to you. Let me know if you ever need to talk. I sent that message last September. This January, I received a message that said, I don't have anyone. He's the worst. Are you available? She came to me. She was pregnant. She stayed in the basement suite of my home, and 2 weeks later, I helped her to end the pregnancy and since encouraged her to start therapy. She is not on speaking terms with her family at all. We got along well enough that I wrote up a single tenancy and she'd be staying for $500 a month since. I am child-free, but I'm very strongly fond of her. In an oddly maternal way. I introduced her to my family. She's of a similar age to my youngest sister and they get along well. Recently, I've helped her apply to colleges. The issue starts that recently the ex found out she aborted the pregnancy. Apparently, she told one of my sister's friends, who is the sibling of my ex's closest friend. He has since been harassing me on all socials, calling me all the grotesque things you can think of, creating new socials to do this also. His mother called me to harass me for ending her grandchild because I'm a heartless woman who hates children, because I'm child-free. And that just because I want to be useless, child-free woman, doesn't mean I need to destroy my ex's line. It's affecting my work also because recently my amazing boss retired and was replaced by a sniveling asshole who is extremely conservative and has seen the social media posts and has brought it up to me on lunch breaks. I wouldn't be surprised if he attempts to let me go in a sideways way for it. If he tries to do that, that is 1000% a lawsuit. I've also noticed a few of my friends have pulled away, thinking I'm helping her out of spite, and asking me why I got involved. Just tired. I'm not legally adept for my age, in all honesty, and I've been under a lot of stress and been struggling with my own mental health, and this is just a lot right now. I just need some advice going forward. How do I broach this topic with friends without saying much? How do I deal with my boss? HR is shit. I'm just lost and tired. And at the moment, I'm glad it's mostly directed at me because apparently he hasn't contacted her. And I'm worried about him contacting her since she's finally doing well.
Am I in the wrong for being mad about my boyfriend still talking about his ex frequently?
Ooh, okay.
My boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 23 female, have been together for about 2 years. We have a pretty good relationship outside of these issues. When we first started dating, he would continuously bring up his ex-girlfriend from high school, telling me random things about her, like her zodiac sign, what they used to do together, and even mentioned where they had sex for the first time. That's weird.
A little weird, yeah.
That's pretty weird. Hearing him always bring her up seemed weird to me, so I asked him if he still had feelings for her. He claimed he didn't, however, it kept happening. Later on, I discovered he still followed his ex on Instagram and was liking all of her bikini photos for the entire time we'd been together.
That's a little weird.
That's pretty strange. I told him this bothered me, and he claimed I was overreacting. Okay, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
I stupidly ignored the red flags and gaslighting. A couple of months later, he asked me to check something for him on his phone, and I decided to check his photos. Out of curiosity, I saw "look back at your memories" thing pop up on his iPhone with photos. These were photos of his ex in lingerie.
Oh, shit.
I lost it at this point. I told him if he was still in love with his ex, it was time for us to break up. He responded nicer than expected and blocked her on all social media, deleted the photos, and deleted her phone number to prove that he didn't love her. Ever since then, he hasn't brought her up at all. I can't help but wonder if he still loves her, though, from time to time. I don't want to be the second choice. Is this normal? Should I still worry?
Am I the asshole for inviting my best friend's ex-boyfriend to my wedding? Okay, so I indirectly invited my BFF's ex-boyfriend. I am friendly with the best friend of the ex. We'll call him Stan. We all used to work together years ago. Stan and I text each other for the holidays, and I go out to eat with him maybe once or twice a year. Anyway, I invited Stan to my wedding with a +1. He is bringing my friend's ex. I let my friend know just as a heads up, and she flipped out. She couldn't believe I was inviting Stan first of all, saying we aren't even that close and that my fiance hasn't even met him in the 7 years we have been together. She said knowing how abusive and horrible her ex treated her, why would I even leave it open for possibility that Stan would bring my ex? I told her how was I supposed to know, and in our culture it is custom to invite everyone you know for the red envelopes. My friend thinks I'm full of shit, and now she is saying she doesn't think she will come to my wedding because of how uncomfortable she feels. She is one of my bridesmaids though, so I want her to suck it up. If her boyfriend was so abusive, she shouldn't have stayed with him for that long. I think she needs to grow up and learn to deal with people she doesn't like. It is my wedding, and it is not like I'm gonna sit them at the same table. Alright, so here's an update on this Am I the Asshole story time. OP says, okay, I get I am the asshole for my comments on my friend's relationship. As I told her to her face, I judged her hard for getting back with her ex for the second time. I'm just a very direct person. Did not mean to offend anyone, but I do not think I am the asshole for who I invite to my wedding, nor can I control who they want to bring as their guest. This story was so crazy to me because she's obviously very ignorant, but also, yes, she can control who comes to her wedding. Also, can someone please tell me what's a red envelope?
My girlfriend whispered something to me when she thought I was asleep. Because of my job, I always wake up way earlier than my girlfriend, literally 2 hours earlier. So I also have to go to bed way earlier than her to get enough sleep. Yesterday evening, when I went to bed, I couldn't really sleep because I had an important event today at work that made me nervous. So I was still awake when my girlfriend went to bed. I was really hot, yes, even during winter, so I slept without my blanket. I thought about talking to her. Something told me to keep my eyes closed, and I did. She took the blanket and covered me with it. Then she kissed me on the forehead, and then she said it. She whispered it. She said every single word. Some people might say it's too cheesy, but I don't, and I can remember every single word. I love you. I love you so much. I love you more than anything in the world. I love you more than words can express. You make me laugh. You make me happy. You make me feel loved. I've never liked the idea of getting married, but you changed my mind. I want to stay with you forever. I'd rather die than live without you. My life isn't complete if you're not in it.
Wow.
I love you.
Why didn't she say that when he was awake?
Then she kissed my forehead again, and I tried my best not to let her know I was awake, which was hard because I teared up. After that, she went back to her side of the bed and laid down. I only then opened my eyes. I laid there for at least a half an hour until she started snoring, and I knew she was asleep. I got up, went to the bathroom, and cried my eyes out.
Why are you guys keep being secretive?
This was the most wonderful thing I've ever heard. I've never felt so much love in my life. After many years of bullying, my self-confidence was so destroyed that I didn't know if I deserved to be loved, let alone that anyone could love me like that. What made it even more special was the fact that my girlfriend had a bad past and had a lot of trouble showing her feelings on the outside. Even with me, she had a hard time being vulnerable sometimes. And the fact that she said this when she thought I couldn't hear her means that what she said came from her heart.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's so
that was
cute.
Really cute.
Top comment. Tell her you heard. Marry her. It's gotta happen. It's absolutely beautiful.
Wow, it is beautiful.
I've been dating my boyfriend for 4 years, and within those 4 years, I have caught him texting other girls 5 times already.
That's a lot. That's more than once a year.
Last time that I caught him, he was begging to say that he was going to change and try harder.
Oh, yeah?
I told him if he did it again, I was done for good. But yesterday,
oh my God,
I caught him again texting other girls, but with his old phone with a whole different account. When I asked him if he was cheating, he said no. So I told him about his old phone, and he said that it's dead, and I told him that it was a lie, and I already saw everything that he had there. He still had the audacity to say that the message wasn't associated with him, and that it wasn't meaningful to him. I asked him why he did it, and he responded that he was bored. So I told him that
Sociopath.
Yeah, so I told him if it was fine if I did it because he was doing it first, and he said no, that it was different for me.
Okay.
He told me again that he was going to try harder this time because he didn't want to lose me because I was important to him. I really don't believe that he's going to change.
No, he's not.